Note to self, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. Hey, thank you, and welcome back to Love and Hope Can. For the new listeners, thank you for joining in. Love and Hope Can LLC. Thank you so very much for joining us on today. We really appreciate it. And we asked today, my dad, I asked him to join me. And today's message is entitled "Words of Encouragement from My Daddy and Me." We've had an opportunity as I spend a lot of days with my father and just tuning into his wisdom and just asking him questions on how did you make it through, um, even when the days that you were down, on the days you think you couldn't make it, on doing something or something didn't work out your way. And so I want to just bring some of that knowledge and wisdom
Who
to
is that
this.
directed to?
This is directed to a whole bunch of people that tune in from around the 50 states within the United States. So that's where we are. And so yeah, so thank you and I appreciate you. And if you enjoy what you hear, please put the thumbs up and don't be afraid to leave a comment. I don't care, just and I will answer back. And just make sure that I hope, well, I tell you what, I just want you to be able to get something out of it. I want you to be able to use whatever it is that you think is valuable to be able to help uplift you, encourage you, and maybe pass on to someone else. Okay? I appreciate you. Again, so I started just note to self, and as I previously said in a lot of my talks, I'm just now talking to the audience, but I also have experienced some things where I have to personally encourage myself on a daily basis to get through, especially if there's something new that I'm interested in starting it up, a project, or just encouraging someone else that needs encouragement, all types of things. So I'm just not speaking to you. I'm speaking to all of those who are listening, and this includes myself. So, Daddy, how you doing today?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
We just finished eating lunch as well, so we're just out here sitting on the sun porch, and yeah, said, Daddy, let's do something because got a couple of calls this morning. A couple of people just needing encouragement and not to give up on some of the things that they're facing in their life. Um, because life is real. It doesn't just end because you go to bed at night, you wake up again the next day, and you're faced with all of these things that that you face in life. Whether it's being able to find money to pay your rent, your mortgage, groceries, the electric bill, putting gas in your car, whatever it is. You have to be able to, you know, find it within yourself and get yourself in today's mode to be able to move about, to be able to say, hey, I got to make this money, I got to do something. Or maybe you go to some place, some social service agency, and find and connect with them to be able to help you. That is what they're designed for there. So don't feel that there's an embarrassment there. They have different programs that can assist you to get over your hump. Okay? So with that said, I thank you and I welcome you in today's podcast entitled Words of Encouragement from My Daddy and Me. So Daddy, just you being of the mature age that you are, is there anything that stands out to you that you say, that you needed to encourage yourself to get through, or someone said to you when you were experiencing a certain thing, to, hey, all right, keep your head up, don't let it get you down. Can you recall anything that you had to get through and you needed encouragement?
You said that I needed encouragement,
Yes,
or but a
that
lot
you
of
can remember when you were younger, or maybe
hmm
going for a job that you needed, um and even the times that you get married to mama and you said, okay, well, I'm gonna need this, but I'm not sure. Is there a part in your life or a time in your life that you were unsure about something?
not particularly, but I'm sure that I was unsure just about 80%. anyway, that if you have something that's very important one way or the other, you want to always give it a lot heavier, shall we say, thought, and
Hmm.
and
How did you get through it?
oh, you live through it certainly by uh, uh, how important is whatever you are talking about is very important.
Will determine how.
How you going to usually how you're going to make a decision.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then a lot of things that you're thinking about, yes, it's automatically there anyway. Just like you said, all you're doing is pushing it up a little bit more.
So it's just, I guess, if I understand it, it's you have to be determined to solve the problem. You can't just sit down,
If it's a problem,
or a situation, we could say situation, and it needs to be solved. But a lot of people lose hope, and they want to, just sit back and just kind of give up on life in some situations. How can you, what words, or is there anything to let that person know that it's going to be okay? Just keep, and what I hear you saying, it depends on the situation, but just keep at it, and it gets better. It can get better.
oh yeah, everything that you can ever think about, and that's giving you wait, no, we're talking about yourself, or you're talking about helping somebody
Just
else.
period. Just it can help me because I'm
Yeah.
going through
So
something. It can.
what you want to be able to give assurances to you and give you uh, you know encouragement to in that particular area, and try to be able to put down an insurance. I mean, an insurance of uh, shall we say, everything is going to be all right. As
Would you say that's easier said than done?
oh yes, very easily said, and it's not necessarily so hard to do if you go into it and just don't go into it. Eh, you will.
Don't go into it thinking in a negative way that it can't get done or you
No,
can't do
not you
something.
as
No, I'm
the
just saying, period. Just for
yeah.
people
Okay.
that needs the encouragement, you just have
Yeah.
to have the right mindset, is what
Yeah.
I'm hearing you say.
Yeah. And I don't recommend really pushing the points. You know what I mean. Like
Hmm.
this, you got to do this here. You got to do this here. You're supposed to say, well, this can happen here. This,
And
yeah,
just sort of understanding where you are in the
yeah,
problem or the
where you
situation.
are in that situation. Yeah,
Okay. And then with that, you can determine which direction you're going to go to help solve that. But
usually.
the key thing is not to give up,
Oh no,
but to keep moving through, right?
and not too forceful. I mean, to the individual.
Mhm. Mhm. So don't just and
Say,
I think what
not
I'm understanding.
pushing something on somebody real tight, like I say, a youngster or somebody like that, whoever you're talking to, or some even an adult, be too
Don't
forceful.
be too far. Mhm.
Yeah, in that particular area.
Mhm. Mhm.
What you're talking about.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm just applying it to it's a vast it's vast situations that you can apply anything to.
Hmm.
But I just noticed, as you heard and witnessed a phone call earlier with the individual that has given up and wanting to, just it's overwhelming for her, and I love her to pieces and I understand where she is, but how much until I break is what she's where she's at. I feel like I'm going to break. How do I keep moving forward?
Who
No,
you
no, 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 no.
in
It's
that
not
position,
necessary.
or
No,
you thinking
I
on
was
her?
speaking to someone else, and I'm sharing with you her frustrations and just
Hmm.
in life a little bit, and where she is right now of because it's been a long time and nothing is seeming to give for her in her way. And in a way, I had to remind her of the blessings that she's dealing with right now, if that makes sense. So
Mhm.
to encourage her, hey, you already are wealthy. Look, you got X, Y, Z, and right here. And so it's constant, it's like a constant reminder of when you're so dark, when you're so in a dark place or can be in a dark place, if you allow things to get you in a dark place, then you're going to stay there. But be reminded of the little bitty things that the Most High has given to you, that God has given to you in ways of, hey, clean water, shelter, food. You can, when the clean water can wash your food, can clean your body, and you have a place to lay your head, versus someone else. And I now, for some reason, I had given to her a situation I couldn't imagine. That just came up to me, and I said I couldn't imagine living in New York, in a place that has maybe 20 or 30 or 40 floors, and the elevator stopped working. The elevators have stopped working, and here you are, went to the grocery store, and it reminds me of Good Times, the show Good Times, when the elevator, and they lived on the 17th floor, and they had to climb up all those steps. Just imagine, you know, other people where our things are in our life, and we all have our things to deal with. The most important thing is to count your blessings and keep moving. Would you agree with that, or is that so cliche
Yeah,
to
and
where people say it all the time? It doesn't really matter anymore
well,
when people are dealing with real life hard issues.
yeah, you don't want it to get too deep in that area, because you get in there and you give up on it,
Yeah, and that's
and
the whole thing of not giving up, to
that's
encourage them.
right.
Right.
Uh, but
Just to keep moving, just to keep.
yeah, but not forcefully.
Not forcefully. That's key word, Daddy. You done said that twice. And when you say not forcefully, that means not so to the point to where,
You da,
okay.
and
Mhm. Mhm.
but if it's something that's very very obvious,
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
you have to be a little. I mean, just go into it tenderly though.
Yeah.
When I say tenderly, like you don't want to. You got to do it like it's here right now. You don't do it.
Mhm.
You take that stick right there and straighten that. I mean, you just can't be demanding in it. It should be a sort of a
Even flow, or
yeah,
even consistency,
yeah,
even pace, so
yeah.
to say, in working through. But what happens though, Daddy? Because there are people out here that are doing it evenly. And I hate to say trying, but are doing it evenly, and it's not working out. You know.
You can both sit down there and together this work with it,
Okay.
and as long as you can handle that in situation and really got a hold to it, rather than just thinking you got something going, that you know what a certain thing is, without any real uh, background or understanding to it.
Well, that's it. Well, I guess what I'm saying, and maybe I'm not saying it clear
Yeah,
enough. I'm saying
I
in
understand.
terms, this whole thing is about encouragement. So
Hmm.
I, people find themselves needing more encouragement, or given hope, or given a possibility of, getting up and moving, continuously moving tomorrow, when today is like hell on wheels. So it's not so much as them not understanding what they're going through, and they've taken the paces. They're doing it at a snail pace because it's been a couple of years, but nothing has broken for them, if that makes sense. And so it's like they're looking for a break. Something has to give, or I'm going to go crazy, or I'm going to go back to the things that I used to do. I'm trying to stay on this level here, but it seems so hard. So what is it? I mean, for me, it's constantly saying you're blessed in the midst of, and I know that there are negative forces that can work against you right when your blessing is on its way and when it's here. Something crazy happens out of nowhere, no reasonable explanation or anything, is sure enough that it's happened. So I said, hold on. We don't know if the blessing coming tonight at 7:37 p.m. We don't know if it's 2 weeks from now. Just keep
Yeah,
holding
but
on.
yeah, like you said, that whatever the situation,
Yes.
they can all you can have 10 different situations,
Yeah.
you know, and this one here, number two, don't necessarily coincide
Number one.
with number one or four. You see what I'm talking about?
Right.
But you can do it into it, like what's the consequences of if we make a mistake, or
Well,
or
the consequence
you
could
know what
be,
I'm saying. You got to have that if that's one of the.
yeah, but what I'm trying to say is the consequence in certain situations, and because I've had to talk people back off the ledge,
Mhm.
so the consequence is I'm giving up on life. That's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying, this is severe when it comes to
What do you mean you giving up
not
on life?
me. I'm just saying when I talk to people,
The
people
other
are at a
people.
point, and I mean, heck, we all think about certain things when things are to the point to where they're just down and you feel like there's no way up, right? So people think about, well, you know what? If it doesn't matter, everything I put all of my energy in this, and I've done everything, I've prayed, I've done everything, but don't something is just it's just not given for me. I'm
Mhm.
gonna give up on life. But so the thing is not to give up on life, but keep moving, because your trial is your trial. It's your journey. But you still, for me, I will quickly and always go towards the side of faith, of continuously having faith in God, but also having hope, you
That's right.
know?
And you don't give up on that point, and it can't necessarily uh, uh, be pushed to the point of just you got to do this here, you do this here, you got to be this here, like you said, you hear the truth, you know the truth, the individual that you're dealing with, what is that situation?
That's what I'm trying to tell you, because right now I was watching something, I did another podcast on it. You have it to where you have so many young teenagers
Mm-hmm.
that are now, based on CNN and
And
these medical doctors, psychiatrists, they have a floor that they can't even keep young people in, because so many people are trying to commit suicide because of life's events. They're overwhelming. So I'm saying, in terms of that, is to be, to find the best thing that brings you happiness and to turn towards it. It could be one thing, two things. I always say, have you ever put your hand in some Play-Doh? Go back to when you was 2 years old or one
mm-hmm.
years old and you play. What did you do? How can
Mm-hmm.
go and do the things that
that
maybe
that
like childlike,
that they were comfortable with,
that way they were comfortable with? Yes,
and
sir.
yeah,
Yeah.
as opposed to saying you do it this here, you do it this here, and you do this here.
Yeah, just kind of find
Yeah,
some type of relief.
you say, well, right, and this and work it out, especially uh, uh, with a high uh, what would we call it,
Anxiety or high.
individual, uh, you know what I mean by a little bit temporal. I mean, temperamental, uh,
Oh,
and and you go into it with a spirit, like I said, that may not work. See, and then you give it to them, and you can see maybe their side first of all,
yeah.
then you work it out from that side, and show them the consequences of whatever
Potential
they say.
consequences, or
Yeah,
which can be
the
good and bad, right?
right.
Yeah. But
Well,
we want to stay on the good side of the consequence, because if
and the
you,
way you see it though. and maybe different different ways. So you want to just, and then again, you got to watch out for the force. You know, whether you're going to be too forceful and then push them out and make them angry, or it's a lot of things that all depends in that area that could despoil the whole thing. But going in there and be tender like, oh boy, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but I just don't want to lose focus
No,
on
you're not losing focus. You just want to be tender with
yeah, I mean it's a in terms of your tender, you're saying in
it.
terms of a sensitive matter and
Mm.
how you handle it.
Yes.
So in
In other words,
handling
you're not saying, all right, you go here and you do this here. You go pick that ball up over there and play it right over there. You know,
well, Daddy,
how
well,
you
let's
say,
stay focused because we're talking about words of encouragement.
that's what I'm saying. You just can't just go, okay, you want that ball to be moved over there. Well, just how you gonna get the ball moved over? You want them to move the ball. But if you're saying, hey, pick that ball up and go, and they would reject that immediately. That
Okay.
tone or anything that
So
could
the
be
way
in there.
you're speaking to people and the way that your deliverance
Yeah.
is for that individual. Where you going? Are you leaving me?
No, I want to go to the laboratory
Oh,
now.
okay. Okay. All right. Well, in other words, so thank you. Thank you so very much.
Oh, where would I go?
Okay, well go ahead to the left to it.
I don't know what happened at home. Oh,
All right.
oh,
Well, I appreciate it and thank you
oh,
for your words of encouragement. But
oh.
in other words, I think I'm what my
Let's just
dad
be
is saying.
with tender,
Just be tender with it.
tender words.
In other words, understanding your situation. Don't be too
Yeah, and
forceful
then no,
with
your personality can't just go in there and knock everything else out. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Be tough. You like
And I can
that.
honestly say if I think I got you where you're going, my go ahead to the restroom there. Um my personality is like,
Let me run here.
it's not cut and dry, but my personality can definitely try to encourage somebody. I can be stern. I can
Yeah,
be
well,
because
yeah,
I
you
don't
you're
want
stern
them.
too.
Well, yeah, but also what you just taught me was to be sensitive because not everybody can take that sternness and then I would have to kind of flow with, a lighter approach. Is what I'm getting from you, you know. Um, but thank you, Daddy. Okay. Daddy said he gonna be back. So, but I'm gonna cut this podcast in probably a few more minutes. But I really want to thank my dad. He was sitting down here. He was wondering what I was doing, and I just told him. I said, "This came into my spirit, Daddy." And so I wanted to do something. He was like, "Well, I'll join you." And so that's the reason why I came up with the title "Words of Encouragement from My Daddy and Me," um, because it's enough to be able to go day to day and still dealing with these things on your back and just you can't get any rest and you're stressed out because nothing is breaking for you and all of a sudden it may become an easier thing to think about something so negative or something that may harm you. Well, I'm gonna tell you no, we're not gonna go that way because right when the blessing comes is when you least expect it. And I always say, and my mom would always say, God is on time. He don't come in your timing, my timing. He comes in his own timing. And I want to say that to you. For anyone that's listening to me, the sound of my voice, it's going to be on the timing of the most high. And when that is given, it's nothing that else can be told about it. Because I always say, God is the best of planners and he plans the best. It's nothing that we as human beings can ever plan that is bigger than God's plans. And so I say to you, if you tugging along, you've been tugging along for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and it seems like nothing is breaking for you. While you're going and you're keeping and you're going back and you're reflecting on things, what is it that needs to change? What is it that needs to change around whatever circumstances that you are facing right now? What is it? What's the lesson that's in it? Because it's a lesson in just about everything we do, even if it's a happy lesson. What's the lesson in it The lesson isn't if it's a happy lesson, it's happy. It brings joy. It makes you feel a certain way. Just as it does if it's an unhappy situation or unhappy experience, then how does that make you feel? And you learn the lesson. Hey, I don't want to go back there anymore. It's the same exact thing. I'm on the side of happiness. I'm on the side of making relationships work. I don't care what type of relationship it is. And I want people to win. I want people to win. I'll never forget. I was just watching, what was it the other day? I think it was the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And the married couples, they were having some situations around the dinner table before it ended. And I think it was Todd and Candy. They were on a bus and he was talking about things, and people in the group, it seemed like to me, because they was Candy was voicing her opinion about Todd's condo over in New Jersey, and she didn't want to, anything to do with it because that was his condo with another person before they got married. And so I understand her side, but I also understand his side because as a man, hey, this is my playground over here. This is where I am. I'm from New York, New Jersey area, and I just want you to experience this. And with all of that, I was seeing the people that was on the little van or transportation it was with, everybody cutting their eyes like ooh, and it was sort of sending a message like, oh, they not, it's not happy in paradise and all of this. And I was just kind of taken aback, like, if you're in a friends group and you have a relationship, you and your husband are thriving, especially your businesses, each of y'all have your businesses. I'm a cheerleader for anything. And I just want and I would say if I had something to say to them, approach it just like you do your business, your marriage, but on the other end, your marriage is so successful and people within your circle don't really, and some of them are slick and don't want to see you really to succeed because everybody in that circle don't have a relationship or they've had a failed relationship. But I encourage those who are going through their marital woes and things like that, just to just keep it 100 with your spouse. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Trust the other person. Allow the other person to express their feelings and whatever they're going through the situation. Understand where they're coming from, and meet in the middle. It can't always be one win, and the win is always on this person's side. It's called compromise. And in the compromise situation, everybody has to compromise, and it's for the greater good. It's going to be for the greater good. It has to be for the greater good in order for it to survive. I am a Todd and Candy fan because they are doing it and they're a power couple. And with this power couple, they're doing wonderful. But what I didn't like is a couple of people always had to say whatever rumor was out about this such and such and everything. It ain't always this over in here. Maybe it is for them. And so what the rumor mill is. Whatever their marriage is their marriage. Stay out of it. I just want them to succeed. And I say the same thing with anybody that's struggling with whatever it is, because you do have some bitter people. And I noticed on this episode from the person that it was coming from, or the couple of people it was coming from, don't really have real relationships. And so what is that? You know? And so going forward in whatever you're dealing with in life, you got to sit back and learn a lesson in it. Find out what it is that you're supposed to learn. And when you sit back and you figure out what you're supposed to learn it, pray on it. God, I never want to come back this way again, but if I've ever met with this again, Lord, help me to get a little bit better. With that being said, hey, thank you for joining Daddy and I today. For the words of encouragement from my daddy and me. I appreciate it. I try to get my daddy involved with this to keep them flowing, to talk about some things, and I can explain at a later date where the conversation was going and things like that. There is an explanation behind it. But I want to say thank you so very much for joining in once again to Love and Hope Can. If you like what you heard, thumbs up, share it, invite your folks. I do apologize early on with the dog. She was barking, and it's just it's a real thing. This is alive. So I want to appreciate I'd appreciate again for everybody for your support, those continuous listeners, and I look forward to talking to you guys again, maybe later on today, maybe tomorrow. And as always, I always say peace and blessings. Have a good one. Bye bye.